Ain't so far from the bottom, couldn't even see the top.
I've seen many job descriptions asking for automation with different frameworks, but once you join, it's just plain old manual testing. Is automation really used for all kinds of testing, or just there is someone team who runs the regression suite when there is an upgrade or something? Just want some thoughts. Let me read that one, the second part one more time. Is there one team who runs regression suites when there is an upgrade or something? Start the timer. And I'm going to say, to answer your question, sir or ma'am, the
message.
It depends on the company you work for, right? Depends on the company you work for. I'll go a little bit through my history. When the first company that I got started in automation at, there was one, because we were using we weren't using Selenium at the time. We were using a software, Quick Test Professional, which is now Unified Functional Testing by HP. The license for that software was very expensive, so I was like, me and another person were the only one doing automation at the time until that person left, and then it became solely on me. Then I brought somebody else in to help with the automation. As automation became more prevalent, I had somebody who would like review the results, but they weren't necessarily doing automation. When we started transitioning over to Selenium, it was still a team, like the automation team that was automating at this particular company. Eventually, they tried to implement a rinky-dink software that to have like everyone try to automate, but that didn't work out too well. I didn't stay to find out how that was going to go, but from my understanding, that was a total flop. But it is what it is. Not everybody makes the best decisions. With that being said, at another company that I pretty much brought automation to that company, but the QA engineers and the junior QA engineers that were there, I introduced them to automation, and they started like dabbling into it. But it was still mostly me doing the automation. But I take that back. I was able to get more QA engineers. They started doing automation as well, and they were the QA for their team. So pretty much all the QAs were doing automation and were contributing in some type of way. At the last company that I was at, it was a mixture. They did want the QAs to learn automation, but it was like a mixture of manual and so, and I think like the QAs that they had were like more like they were more seasoned, I would say. But they did want to learn, and so they were getting there. And now at the current company that I'm at, it is pretty much an expectation that all QAs of all levels do some level of automation. And to me, I think that's like the right way that it is. And to answer the question, is automation really used for all kinds of testing? The answer is an emphatic yes. It is used for all types of testing. I mean, automation can't capture every single thing, but the key for automation is when you are you need to understand a testing pyramid and not have the point of that pyramid facing down. It should be the tip of the pyramid should be facing up. So that means you start off with a flurry of unit tests that are normally written by the developers. I do think that QA can contribute a lot of insight to unit tests, but it is usually primarily the job of the developers. And then you go into like the integration test, the component test, And then as you keep going, and those are less than the unit test. But then you go into like the API test where you can test the endpoints, and then like you test the endpoints, you can have like a negative test, positive test, all of that good stuff, right? And then you get to the UI test, which end up being more flaky. So if your software is properly built, most of the tests are being handled from the API layer and on down, where the most tests are being covered by the unit test. The UI test should so that's where the business logic is. The UI test should be like very minimal. Like if something isn't working on the UI, it shouldn't it shouldn't be like a critical life or death situation. So when you run your test, like you still want to get it fixed, you still want to get it captured, but you know, it is what it is. Finishing time. So yeah, so that's my thoughts. It is and let me just address this part real quick, right? Um about you've seen many jobs asking for automation with different frameworks, but once you join, it's just plain old automation, plain old manual testing. Um, how many jobs have you joined that's asking for automation? Um, so I mean, I don't know. I've seen tons of jobs on LinkedIn and stuff. Every job that I've joined that asks for automation, they have like sometimes they didn't even have automation and they brought me in to bring automation to it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know like where you're from or what type of jobs you are getting or what the size of the company. But from my experience, that is not typical. Usually companies are looking to move towards automation. And if they have no automation, there is some manual testing that's going to be a part of it. But it's on you, you who's watching. It's on you to push for more and more automation. All right. So it's on you.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.